Hey, Titty Gang.
What's up, guys?
Welcome to the Tits and Talks podcast. My name is Gabby,
And I'm Natalie.
and we are so excited to have you here with us today as we help you navigate your health journey.
Thank you so much for listening, and we hope that you learned something new.
So, this is our first podcast.
Woo!
I know, it's so crazy to actually be doing this. I remember a couple years ago, we were like, we should start a podcast, or just our conversations, or like this shit that we talk about is
Funny.
funny.
I know. I feel like probably everybody has at least said once in their lifetime, like, oh, I should start a podcast because I have a lot to say. We do. I don't know of how
If
much
it's-
quality it will be.
But we have pretty valuable conversations, I would say. It's just like we joke around, we have fun, but they're pretty good conversations.
Yeah, our brains come out to play every now and then. So basically, our first episode is just going to be kind of an intro. We're going to obviously kind of be talking about ourselves a lot. So we're going to just kind of give background, why we decided to start this podcast, kind of the direction for it. And yeah, just help you learn the tits behind the talks.
Mm-hmm.
Some disclaimer, since this is our first episode, expect a lot of giggling. We don't take each other very seriously.
Yes.
Also, like when we get into more, I guess, like serious topics, like around like eating disorders or body dysmorphia or things like that, I want to apologize in advance. My way of dealing with things is through dark humor. So if I laugh at stuff, I'm not laughing at you if you've gone through those things, because myself has gone through those things.
Man,
Gabby's a lot more sensitive than me.
it's a perfect match because
It
we're
is.
like complete opposites. Really.
She is the sunshine on the bright sunny days, and I'm the dark stormy cloud that rains on your parade.
And then I just rein you in sometimes.
Yeah, and then I sometimes just sprinkle you with
and then I'm like
my rain.
Yeah.
I was gonna say my wetness.
That too.
All right, so now that the legal disclaimer.
Yeah. And also, all of the health information that we talk about on this podcast is merely for educational purposes. And yeah.
We are not doctors or registered dietitians.
Yes.
So everything that we will be discussing is their own experience and certification, and we do have degrees, but like they're not medical degrees.
Yeah.
So yeah, legal disclaimer, if you have health problems, please talk to a doctor. We're more than happy to provide support, but definitely talk to a doctor. Don't WebMD it. All right, so Gabby, why don't you tell the people about yourself, a little information, like height, weight, age. I'm kidding.
What's your social?
What's your
what's your BMI?
What's your address? What's your credit card number?
I can't with us. Okay. Well, my name is Gabby. Been best friends for 10 years? 10 years? I kind of like... Okay, funny story is like how we became friends is I was going to prom and I was dating a guy that was older than me, and then she was like, hey, maybe like I can help you get ready for prom if you want, and I was like, yeah. And I don't think she was expecting me to say yes.
A little bit more backstory. So we actually met at a party because we had a mutual friend that I was responsible for her, and I couldn't find her. And then I went into the bathroom and I found her throwing up, and Gabby was holding back her hair like the true champ that she is. And then I got Gabby's Snapchat because she was so concerned about me and this friend's safety, about her know that we got home safely. And then like a week later, I ended transferring from psychology class to yoga class.
Was it psychology or soccer?
It was psychology. No, I was still in soccer. I was
dang.
I went into psychology and I was like, wow, this is a lot. I'm going to yoga. I wanted easy grades. Not that yoga is not hard, but
it was an easy grade though.
Yeah. So then I switched to yoga and I saw her and I was like, oh my god, hey, bathroom girl, like, what's up? And then like we would talk with each other, but we weren't really friends. And then one day, yeah, she was telling me about how she got asked to prom and that she was super excited to be going, but like had no one to get ready with because all of her friends we were like freshmen or sophomore at the time.
Yeah.
And me just, being the nice person that I am, was like, oh, well, maybe I can like come over and help you get ready. Fully expecting her to be like, no, I don't know you. I don't want you in my house. And then she was like, yeah, sure, that'd be great. And I was like, ah, damn it. And it's funny, like the first picture we have together. So I came over, I had a soccer game that morning. And I came over like still in my soccer shorts, my shirt. I'm pretty sure I still had my soccer socks on and just
Yeah.
like sandals.
Did you like meet me? I think you met me at Mac
I
when I
think
was
so
getting
too.
my
Yeah.
makeup done. Yeah.
So I just like showed up to Mac looking like a little boy, and yeah, her mom was so nice. I think your brother was there too.
Yeah.
And we just kind of like chit chatted, and then she was like, "Oh well, do you want to like come back to my house with me and like help me like get dressed and like hang out?" And I was just like, "Well, I'm already balls deep. Sure, I'll go see where you live. I'll go home with you." And so
I'll go get you dressed.
Yeah, I'll go put your clothes on. And so I'm such a gentleman. I just help you put clothes on. And yeah, so I went back to her house and then just helped her get ready, and we ended up clicking really well. And then like her mom was like, "Oh, let's take a picture together." And so we have this picture where like Gabby is like so done up, looks absolutely beautiful. She's in like this gorgeous dress. She's in heels. She's taller than me already naturally, but she's in heels. And she literally looks like she's hugging like her 10-year-old brother in the picture. Cause like my hair is a mess. I'm like in my soccer stuff. I'm like at her boob height, and she's just like holding me. Fully.
After that,
we just realized that like we were so nice.
I don't really know. Like after that, I think I went to your birthday party. That one that was like glow in the dark.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, and then we were just best friends since then.
Yeah, and then we both had like similar ambitions, I guess.
Yeah, we were all like into fitness. I remember we would go to Snap, and I think would we go to Planet Fitness together and work out?
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was a good time. No.
So in high school, Gabby was a dancer.
A dancer.
And then I did a lot of different sports.
I did drugs.
That wasn't until college. No, but I did like soccer, track, swim, and tennis, and so like we were both just super active and really liked working out. And we actually got our first job together.
Oh, yes. We need to upload that picture too.
Oh my god,
I think horrible. I still have it. It's so cute.
Okay, and so we got our first job together, and that was really fun. And yeah, we just like wanted to do everything together. And then when we got into college, we still stayed super close, but like ran with different crowds.
Yeah.
Gabby ran with the good crowd. I didn't run with a good crowd.
Yeah. But I was always just we were always still best friends. Like we can go months without talking, and it was like whenever we would talk again, it's just like the same.
Yeah. And yeah, so like I said, we went through different paths. She went down like the very studious good girl path, I guess you would say. Like that's the perfect label. And I pretty sure I was an alcoholic and did drugs. Like no, I'm dead serious. Like I drank literally every single day. I would show up in class drunk.
Natalie, are you serious?
Yeah, I went. Yeah. So not going into too much detail because we don't need to go down that road, but I went through a lot of really sad things towards the end of my freshman year of college. Like someone that I really loved passed away, and then my like first love like broke my heart, and I didn't know how to deal with that. Like I was on my own, living outside of my parents' watch, and I was like, I'm just gonna go crazy. I don't know how to deal with all these feelings, so I'm gonna suppress them with alcohol.
Yeah.
And I think Gabby was kind of noticing that, and so one day she like was like, "Hey, do you want to do a bodybuilding comp together?" And her reasoning was great. Mine was like, "Oh yeah, I want Revenge X body. I'm gonna do it." So that he's like, "Oh man, I messed up." Not like, obviously I chose the wrong things to fix initially, because I was like, "Oh yeah, if I just make my body hot, he'll regret it." Not realizing that like it was and my then mind you're like, that was fucked up.
And then we find ourselves in the shower together. We like turn and look at each other, look like skeletons.
Yeah. So going a little bit more into like experience history, that's a nice segue. We both did 2 bodybuilding competitions.
Yes.
You did figure and bikini.
Yeah, my first one was figure with you, and then my second one was bikini, and then I've done I started powerlifting. Yeah, I started powerlifting. I think my first powerlifting, like I said, was in high school. I think I was like 17.
Aren't you nationally ranked?
Yeah. I don't even know if I'm still nationally ranked. I'm sure there's like stronger girls out there now that have beat my weight, but at one point I was, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm pretty strong.
She is.
A little bit, not
No,
really.
she's really strong.
No.
It's not fun to work out with her anymore. Because, like, my warm-up weight is, like, her warm-up weight is my max weight. And I'm like, we're doing that for reps?
Come on.
Ma'am? My body don't move like that. But yeah, so we've both done 2 bodybuilding shows. Both of mine were figure, I guess you could say. We did muscle. I did, both of my shows were Muscle Mania, and I feel like figure Muscle Mania
You did figure for your second one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like the standards for figure and Muscle Mania are not the same as like NPC or OCB or any of the more serious
different thing, yeah.
So we both did that. She's got her background in powerlifting. I am a certified CrossFit coach. I've been doing CrossFit for the past, like, I think
long
2.5. No,
really?
Yeah.
Dang, I feel like it's been a long.
No.
Or I feel like because we kind of got into CrossFit whenever your sister was first doing CrossFit.
Yeah, that is true. I have an older sister who was super into CrossFit, and Gabs and I wanted to try it out. And so we went to a bunch of different CrossFit gyms, and they all sucked. And I became like a CrossFit hater, and I was like, CrossFit's fucking stupid. But we would go and support my sister. She did great. She wasn't stupid. And then, yeah, like, kind of got into the bodybuilding stuff, and then found a gym that, like, had good coaches and cared about, like, movement and quality and stuff, and then, like, fell in love with it. Honestly, I think CrossFit is what helped me with my body dysmorphia the most, because, like, coming out of bodybuilding competitions, boy, I had body dysmorphia so bad. And I mean, it still makes an appearance right now.
I think it's like a spectrum, because I think everyone in their own way has something about their body that they are insecure about or they don't like about themselves, and it kind of just like manifests in your mind. But I feel like it's a spectrum. I think like once we got out of bodybuilding, like it was like a very unhealthy body dysmorphia where we were like bulimic and different things that were not healthy, whereas like I feel like now, like, yeah, everyone has different things that they don't like about themselves, but it's not unhealthy.
Also, kind of going into that, like, as Gabby mentioned, the bodybuilding aspect really did a toll on both of us mentally. I developed an eating disorder from it of bulimia, and just like hated my body. I hated food. I was so scared of food. And I hated exercising because it was a form of punishment for me now. Like, it went from something that I really enjoyed and had fun with to like, oh, well, I didn't eat healthy, so now I need to like go work out for 3 hours. And, you know, just became, just a really not good headspace to be living in.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of what drove me to where I'm at today. So a little sidetrack note of like kind of what we're doing now, and why we started this podcast is I own an online nutrition company. It's called Align Wellness. It's a company that focuses on coaching women through nutrition, but primarily like helping them improve their relationships with food, helping them, you know, take control over their food choices and feel confident in themselves again, and teaching them just like the educational aspect of what goes on in our body when we eat food, so that they can look at their body fluctuations objectively, and, you know, kind of change that mindset of like, oh my god, the scale's up, like I'm fat, or, you know, I did something wrong, to like, oh, the scale's up, let me audit my past few days and see like, were there any changes in my eating behaviors, or how much I ate, or am I about to start my period, like, because there's so many factors that can cause weight fluctuations or bloating, and it doesn't always result in something that you did wrong, but just a physiological aspect of your body's response to food. And so that's what the company focuses on. So I'm a certified nutritionist through Precision Nutrition, and I'm also a women's health specialist certified through Girls Gone Strong. My degree is a bachelor's of science in public health and health education. And before nutrition, I did a lot of clinical trial research, working with like HIV vaccines, COVID vaccine. I worked in a family planning clinic and did nutrition counseling. And the family planning clinic and the nutrition counseling, like the HIV vaccines, was all done out of, I got an internship in South Africa, which was an amazing experience. And I would love to do an episode just on the differences of health in South Africa opposed to America, or at least where we live. And And then when I came back to the States, I got involved in exercise science, clinical research, and pharmaceutical research, and just didn't feel fulfilled with pharmaceutical or like working in the hospital, and kind of full circled back to nutrition because originally I was going to school for nutrition. Like I got into the school of nutrition, I think I was like 2.5 years into it when I developed my eating disorder. And for me at that time, it didn't make sense to stay in nutrition because in my mind, I was like, I can't even look at food without wanting to like cry and go for a run and like go work out. So like it doesn't make sense why I should be a nutritionist. So I think in order for me to heal the way that I did, it was the best option to leave nutrition and then kind of like find my way back to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Gabby,
Yeah.
tell
What
us
do
about
you do?
Who are you? What do you do?
No, I have my bachelor's in exercise science. I went to UNM, and then now I'm getting my doctorate in physical therapy at UNM as well. Um, and yeah,
So we're not just pretty faces.
yeah, we,
We're not just biceps.
yeah, and I feel like we are like very like self-educated.
Yeah.
Like we did like the research on our own, and we kind of like learned through trial and error of our experiences about nutrition, about working out, through different coaches that we had. I think we've both had. I've had pretty good coaches. Yeah, so I think both like, and I learned from other people's experiences too. I've had clients that have told me like horror stories about their coaches, and it's like, oh my gosh, why are people doing this to women and giving them eating disorders? But yeah, I've had great coaches. I think it was whenever I developed the unhealthy relationship with food and exercise was just through my like personal unknowing of what I was getting myself into because I was so young. We were 17.
Were we?
Were we?
Or 18?
18.
I think we're 18. How old are you when you were a freshman in college? I think 18. I think I was 18.
Well, then I had to be 18 because we were the same. We're just a couple months apart, right?
Yes. Yeah, I think, well, for the sake of argument, we'll say we were 18.
Yeah.
When we got into bodybuilding.
Yeah, because I think that's like, we were so young and I didn't know what I was getting myself into. So at such a young age where I'm still developing, I feel like learning about nutrition and learning about exercising in that way of bodybuilding where it's so extreme just allowed me to develop that disordered eating and just like unhealthy relationship with myself and food. And I feel like I like last our little Tuesday talk. I feel like on that episode, like I kind of like bashed bodybuilding, which I don't think it's a bad thing. I think that if you are properly educated and you know what you're getting yourself into, I think that it's not a bad thing. Like you utilize nutrition in the proper way, you build your body, and then you know that you should not be at that show weight for a year round, you know?
And also you can, a big thing is expensive coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, you can definitely get a shit coach who's very expensive and not get out of it what you're hoping for, but a lot of times like the high quality coaches will have a high ticket price with it, and it's not something that you should try and negotiate downwards for, because one, it's an investment into yourself, like bodybuilding or just coaching of any sort, whether that's like business, nutrition, fitness, powerlifting, like whatever it is. You're obviously reaching out to someone because you feel like they're an expert in that area that you need help with. So why would you, like, essentially...
And at the end of the day, you pay all this money for Apple, for all of these, like, products,
Starbucks.
You know? Yeah, like, for things, like, you need people put a price at their worth, and you should respect that, too. Just as if you had your own business, you wouldn't want people trying to negotiate that, you know?
I think the only time that negotiations work is, like... If you see the value of what that coach is offering, but you just like literally financially are just, you know, working hard for ends meet. Like, you know, unfortunately the economy is stupid right now and it's very expensive. And like some people's jobs aren't progressing as the economy progresses. And so like they may be working their butt off and just like financially can't afford it. Like, you know, you may look at their like monthly expenses and they're like not spending extra money like eating out or on Starbucks or on like miscellaneous things that aren't a necessity. And in that case, then it's like, okay, like, yeah, we can figure something out, you know?
Yeah. And I think too, like for a green flag for a coach, like if your coach is able to answer your questions, like you should do like an interview with a coach that you're wanting to pay for, because if they're unable to answer your questions and they're getting like defensive with your questions, like that's not a good coach, you know. Like someone that's well educated and well informed is going to be able to lay out X, Y, and Z for all of your questions.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. And it's frustrating, like, being in the coaching business because you see a lot of dumb stuff from
Mm-hmm.
people who, and sometimes the people that you see it from are really smart, and it was just like a not thought out or well researched topic. But a lot of times, like, there's just people putting stuff out there for like clickbait or likes or money, and that's so frustrating because, like, yes, you know, we live in a day and age where you should be able to make your own conclusion about something through like research and stuff like that, but like blatantly putting it, people don't want to do that. That's why they hire like people, or why they follow certain accounts and stuff. And so, like, I can't tell you how many times, like, a week, some of my clients are like, hey, I saw this on, you know, TikTok or Instagram, like, and insert some false accusation about nutrition or fitness, and they're like, is it true? And it's like, it's so frustrating because some of the people with like the greatest platforms aren't always utilizing it as a way to help people, or like looking at it as like, what am I putting out there and how's it going to affect people?
Yeah, and like the younger population too, because I feel like you don't know better. The people that are on a platform and on Instagram, they read something, and most people don't read into it. They're just like, oh, that's true, you know? So it's like, it's just unfortunate to the younger population that they have to read these things and maybe go through difficult times like eating disorder, body dysmorphia, and it's all through just miseducation. You know, I feel like our society is just so not well informed around around nutrition and around exercise, that it's so simple, guys. It's so simple. Just
We make
listen
it
to,
complicated.
yes, so complicated. There's all these diets, all this, is that. Like it's like the best plan is the one that works for you, the one that's sustainable for you, and it's going to work and sustain like longevity for you. You know, it's not, oh, let me do the keto, let me do this. Those aren't sustainable. It's not gonna work, and it's, you're gonna go right back to where you started. I think it's just so exciting to start this podcast together.
Yeah, me too.
I think this is just the beginning, and we have so many different topics that we're excited to talk about and share.
Kind of just to, I guess, like, clarify or something, I don't know. There's no health in our title or like fitness or stuff.
It just shows our
Because,
personality.
yeah, well, because like we didn't want, like, obviously we want our podcast to be mainly around like health and wellness, and specifically like women's health as well. Um, but at the same time, like, we just want to have fun.
Yeah, and we
Like,
don't want to be confined to just one topic or just one little like niche. Like we want to show our personalities and just talk about fun stuff and make it fun. And
yeah, and we're hoping that through kind of a more relaxed and fun, but still education backed
yes.
podcast, that retention of, you know, the more science based topics is easier, because, you know, it's something like, me personally, I cannot listen to educational podcasts to save my life. I try so hard, but my brain just, like, 5 minutes and I'm like,
it
oh,
loses itself.
yeah, it's like, oh, look at that over there or stuff. Whereas like reading educational stuff, I love it. Like that part I can focus on, but listening to it, I'm just like, I don't like this. Um, and so yeah, so we essentially like came together to figure out, what do we like, what don't we like, what do we wish was out there. And so yeah, so it's essentially just like a fun, lighthearted, raunchy podcast.
Tits talking.
Yeah, just two pairs of tits talking. This is our end remarks.
This is our end remark.
Cue the what is it in a movie? Oh, the end credits. Cue the end credits. All right. Have a great day.
Bye.
Toodles.
Thank you.